Experience tranquility.
Welcome to the S2E14.
I spilled some water.
Skifer Yeti, and joining me as always, we have Thuggington, and then joining us today we have Specs from Sugar Rush. He is the 16th best Widowmaker in the Tranquility community. 15th? I'm sorry, that's right, you beat Guac, I'm sorry. Yep. Just a reminder. And then over here we have Main Tank Wunderkins from Solo Cup. We have Light Rose.
I spilled some water on my desk.
You're grounded, bro.
That was worth it. That was worth it.
Don't pull a PC scrub and get grounded on us, buddy.
I'm good.
All right, let's get going. All right, guys, we have a pretty lit podcast for you. We are 1 week from the playoffs, and the picture is starting to really sort itself out right now. We have 9 teams locked in and 1 spot left for the left up for competition here. We're gonna get right into it with a recap of last week's matches, and our first one on the recap here. I just flashed my desktop. Everybody drink.
There it is.
Hey, all right.
Our first one we have on the recap here, we have Illusion and Aimbots, and that's Light Rose.
All right, so yeah, Taifumi really carried that weight in that Volskaya Lucio 1v1, and I think that's why he took that W.
What?
Oh, the actual game?
Yes, the
not
actual
the
game.
1v1 that took beforehand. Oh, okay, my bad.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was rooting for the Aimbots like a lot. You know, this comeback story, end of season coming together, and it sucks. Pulling that reverse sweep, and it's crazy. Illusion actually 2 weeks in a row, they got a reverse sweep, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, dude.
So for the Aimbots, when the synergy was there, it was there. They were in control. They were taking fights. They took advantage of mistakes. But when it wasn't there, it really wasn't. Communication started to fall. Fights tended to break out, and overulting started to happen. I think Hollywood was a prime example of that. And it's too little too late for getting everything together. This is the last week, and because of this loss, they're out of playoff contention. People that stood out for me on the Aimbots were Savage, Taifumi, Crackfob. He also had a very good game. And on Illusion's side, they had a great job of coming out with fire in the second half, winning those 2 maps and then taking the final one. And then one thing that really helped them secure that was winning the winnable fights. Asura and Memorex both had a great series, and I think Illusion played better in the second half, while the Aimbots either got too comfortable or just slacked a bit. And they definitely didn't seem like the same team that they were in the first half. So Illusion did get the reverse sweep 2 weeks in a row, but you shouldn't count on your ability to reverse sweep going into playoffs.
All right, we're going to move on now to Harmony and Chaos and Solo Cup, and that's Specs. Specs, what do you have from us for that match?
Yeah, Harmony took it 3-1 in the end. First map was Nepal. Main takeaway from that is Maxix is insane. His Sombra is just next level. It was a pain in the ass for us to play against him, and it really was a problem for Solo Cup there. Moving on to Volskaya, it was 4-3. Again, very close map. That was pretty much a theme throughout the maps here. It was very close, very back and forth. But at the end of the day, Harmony was just a better team. And through the past couple of weeks, we've seen their teamwork is coming together. Their cohesion is really there, especially running Somber goats or different goats compositions. They look really solid, and they're definitely a force to be reckoned with coming into the playoffs.
I would definitely agree with that. They look very scary. They got a big match coming up this week, but we'll be talking about that here in a few moments. Next one, Thug, you had a really big match here. Huge match. Havoc and Sugar Rush.
This was actually a really fun match to watch because it wasn't a reverse sweep. It wasn't a momentum swing. It was a lot of tug of war back and forth. And to me, watching this entire series came down to the support lines. Sugar Rush was just straight up better. Sifakilla and Sacred Walrus hard carry more often you think. Its main supports don't get talked about enough. They have this trash ass Zenyatta player that plays in their goats. I'm not sure about him. Anyway, Sugar Rush's support line was much better than Havoc's support line. I think like that's a common thread for Havoc throughout the entire season is when they lose because of their support line deficiencies or just maybe some miscommunications. But yeah, this is a really fun match to watch. The 4 DPS comp came out strong on Li Zhang at the end, and it was fun to watch that. Really asserted the dominance and kind of flashed their signature for him. So big wins by Sugar Rush. I know it's good. It was a must win, and next week is a must win. So it's fun to see him turn it on towards the end here and get some much needed W's.
Yeah, they're putting the destiny squarely in their hands, and that's a huge thing any team would wish they'd have. So speaking of matches with playoff implications here, we have Gravity and Wrecking Crew. I do want to it was a 3-1 win for Gravity. Gravity took the first 3. Wrecking Crew finished off with a win on Junkertown. I do want to spend a little time talking about Wrecking Crew. Obviously, you all saw what happened in the server. You guys saw the 5-page Word document of problems. Who could have seen that coming? Anyways, so I have to give a ton of credit to Cinnamon,
Yes.
the new captain for Wrecking Crew. She is wonderful, and she also picked that team up from the ashes and put together, the first 2 maps on Nepal and on Volskaya. It was a struggle. It really was a struggle. You could tell that their synergy isn't really there right now. That being said, they have really good players. or however you pronounce his name. He popped off frequently, and they have Techo Kitty as well. And Techo Kitty is a pretty dang good main tank, and playing some off tank for them last night as well. They have a new person who has quite possibly one of the greatest names I have ever seen in Velocifactor. Absolutely fantastic name recognition recognize that. So Wrecking Crew, I know the result wasn't what you were looking for, guys, but what's going on?
Nothing. Someone please clip Yeti's voice cracking.
I'm the one who's supposed to be voice cracking.
Oh yeah,
It was bad.
Dude, Forrest is like, I don't remember.
I don't know. All right.
Sorry.
Sorry, hold on.
Bailey boys, hello.
Yeah.
So, Wrecking Crew did good shit. No, honestly, good job, Wrecking Crew, even just pulling a team together to get a match going. And not only that, you went against a powerhouse of a team, or a team that is very capable of being a powerhouse. Which brings me to something here that I've been wanting to do for a little bit. Hi, Gravity. I'm Ski Free Yeti. You might know me. I'm pretty popular on the internet. I wanted to spend some time talking about some things with your team that have been bothering me lately. So let's go back about 3 weeks ago. Your team was at the top of the standings, had a very solid map differential, 9-2, very comfortable. Right now, if you were still set 2 losses, you'd be very comfortably in that number 1 seed. You'd pretty much have your destiny in your hands. And you'd have a week 1 bye, and you'd be taking on this 8th or 9th seed in the playoffs. Pretty good spot to be in, isn't it? Well, unfortunately, you decided to turn off the Jets just a little bit. Then you went 9-4, losing 2 very winnable matches against Illusion and Aimbots. Now, I know Gravity. Gravity has 2 players in particular that everybody fears, Velzen and Orsted. Let's be real here. We know how good they are. We know how good talented Orsted is. But I want to remind everybody that before their slump, they were undefeated without Orsted. That's how good this team is capable of being. With Orsted, they had their only losses before this little slump they went on. So Gravity, we look at what you're doing right now. We look at you 1-2 in the last 3 games, and you ask yourself, how is this happening? Is the team just not gelling like they used to? No, you're sandbagging. It couldn't be more clear. In fact, you have literally told us you are sandbagging. You're not putting forward 100% effort. And you're well within your right to do that. Who am I to criticize anybody's decision as to how much preparation they want to put into a match? By all means, you don't have to prep. That's fine. But what it does is it upsets the competitive balance of the entire community. And when you come out here and you meme about it and you act like it's no big deal, that tends to grind some people's gears. And it really did grind my gears a little bit. And guess what? Your little sandbag trip cost you #1 seed. At best, you're looking at a 2nd seed. It really needs to fall in your way. And I don't think you're going to win against Solo Cup because members of your team have literally told me that you're going to be sandbagging again against Solo Cup. So right now, you're looking at a 4th or a 5th seed. Congratulations. That 4th or 5th seed gets you against Season 1 champions Havoc. How do you think that's going to work out for you? I think I know how that's going to work out. It's going to be a first round loss for Gravity. It's a shame. You had all the potential. But remember, all that sand you're using to fill those bags, you got to dig a really deep hole in order to get all that. Good luck getting out.
I gotta take a drink for that spice.
Oh my god.
That's my opinion on Gravity right there, guys.
All right.
So, we're going to move on to the next match here. You can't tell I don't like sandbagging. So, yeah, if you're getting your predictions out in chat, don't pick on Gravity. I'm just telling you right now, I don't expect Gravity to put forth any effort. So, anyways, and really, honestly, if they did put forward the effort with how deep of a hole they've put in, they're not going to win anyways. Fighting Potatoes, Alt F4, Light Rose. Follow that.
So
How about that local sports team, everybody?
Yeah, actually gotta pull it up because I was a little bit of a time constraint, so I had to do it while I was away from my PC. So I gotta pull up. So you gotta take a shot, everyone. At any time someone says it, it was closer than the score said. So the DPS on the side of the Potatoes did great. Telio, nutty. He was freaking nutty this game. And Mousie's Rip Tires were great. The Potatoes did actually a really good job of keeping Silent Monkey on the low. I mean, Hollywood was a great example of why the Potatoes are as low as they are. They have the synergy and they have the ability to make those combos. It's just having the stable comps. Like Hollywood, I don't know what they ran on Hollywood. Against a freaking bunker, they had a diva ball. It was the weirdest thing. And on Alta 4, both O-Stories and Godspeed really carried their weight this match. And essentially what this match came down to was the ability to carry out their plays. Individual play, especially on the side of the Potatoes, was really good. But it was the ability to come together and work with your 5 other teammates.
Kitty.
Did I do... Oh, shit. Did I do good?
No,
you did.
Well, son.
You did great. We're proud of you. All right, we're going to go on here. We got Specs with Meteors and Omnic Turtles.
Yeah, so this was a Meteors win 3-1. Main takeaway from this game is Meteors dive it's insane. HQC's monkey is great. When he has to flex to something else, there's a little bit of an issue in my opinion. They ran a wrecking ball comp on Nepal, lost out that map because of it. Actually they won that map, but the individual map itself, they're very, very set in their way with dive, and Omnic Turtles were able to exploit that with their bunker comp for sure. I think the best way to kind of go about that with Meteors is just really focus on that. But Hooks R Us, and he's insane. He plays every hero. It's kind of ridiculous how he does it.
For sure.
Yeah, he plays every. It's not that he plays every hero. He plays it at a high level. It's consistent. His game sense, his map positioning is just next level. And definitely, I think he's one of the unsung members of the community at this point.
Sure.
He's getting a name for himself too. He's appearing a lot in pugs. He's just kind of showing up a lot, so we see a lot of Hooks R Us these days. He'll be around season 3, I hope. So, all right, last match here we have for the recap. Thug, you had the feature match from last week, Meta Rejects and Otaku.
This was also a fan-fucking-tastic match. I got a lot of 3-2 matches this time, and not reverse sweep 3-2s, which is always fun to watch. This one, and I don't want to give him the suck too much, but Kingdom, my word, sir, incredible. Playing out the May and then the Symmetra. I literally thought you were throwing and you were tilted, and you probably muted and just did your own thing. But that was incredible. I think it was something that when you did it, especially the Symmetra, nobody expected it. And no, Cryptic, it's not the Spanish Inquisition because you talk about it too much. Really great individual plays. Yeti, you did good, my man. Minus your one Monka S charge.
What are you talking about? It's not like anything in particular here. Wait.
They can get Sith Gears blocked off by themselves. Big wall again.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that.
It's a little yikes.
I bounced off the ice, okay?
Curb your enthusiasm theme.
It's a lot of really, really great plays, and this one to me came down to tank play. Smugs can only do so much for the old otaku boys. Follow up Yojak. Yojak likes to go nuts solo in the back line. I think the league's figuring it out, and that wasn't a real word. I kind of added a syllable. It's figuring it out, so need a little more support for him, and guys clean that up, and you're going to be unstoppable in the playoffs. But really great win by Meta Rejects. I know they were amped up for it and amped up for the W, so good on you, mate.
Definitely. All right, that's the recap for Week 14, guys. Obviously, the playoff picture really sorted itself out. Another thing that we have to touch on here is our power rankings. So we'll be taking a quick look at those here. Now, one thing you're going to notice, there's very little shuffling. In fact, there's only 2 teams trading spots. That is the only change you're going to see in this week's power rankings. We see Harmony and Chaos moving from spot number 4 up to spot number 2. Basically, these kind of fall in line with our current standings. The only difference, obviously, is Havoc. The only significant difference, I should say, is Havoc. Havoc is showing up in 8th in the power rankings, but they're going to end up here more than likely 4th. I don't like the fact that everybody's ranking Havoc so low. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, if I'm looking at this, I see that as a huge kind of question mark. There's a lot of good teams, and I think that says a lot to the parity in the community. But at the same time, I see that, and I have to wonder, why is everybody thinking Havoc is the 8th best team? I don't know, Thug. What do you think?
Because they are.
Okay, all right.
What I'm seeing from Havoc right now is just not Havoc from even 4 weeks ago. Knowing how much this OD's taken up time, I think they're burning themselves out, to be honest with you. I know before our match, they played about 3 solid hours of Overwatch, and it's tough, man. It's a tough amount of Overwatch to play in one day and then have to go up against another coordinated team. I don't know. I think it's a little bit much. The rest of it, and I think this is probably going to be our playoff grouping, let alone, I mean, not necessarily in the right order, but this is most likely what we're going to see come into the playoffs. But I don't know. Havoc has a lot more to give, and they have a lot more to show us. I don't sleep on them by any means, but
right.
For their play in the last 3-4 weeks, that's warranted.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Any Light, what do you have to say about the powder rankings? Anything stick out to you?
I think with Havoc, I have to agree with Thug. They haven't really shown anything. They've just been kind of stumbling through.
Sandbagging?
Probably not as much as Gravity.
No.
Yeah. I just think they're in a little bit of a rough spot, and maybe when playoffs hit, they can start hitting their stride. But I think 8th, maybe 7th, but they don't really haven't really shown that they can be up in that 4th, 5th in the terms of power rankings, not the actual standings, of course. But I think all the other ones make sense. Alta 4. Record's a little different than everybody below them, but I think they deserve to be up in that 6th spot. Their momentum's still working for them. You know, Silent Monkey, Godspeed O-Stories, everything's working out for them. And going into the playoffs, that momentum can be a scary thing.
It's a good time for them to rest going into playoffs. Got to rest, accept that you've done well lately, and it's time to shut it down. So, Specs, anything?
Yeah, I mean, going along the back with Havoc there, Open Division's over at this point, so they're gonna have a lot more time on their hands to really prep and prepare. But how is Harmony not number 1? It just doesn't make sense to me, to be completely honest.
You think Harmony over Otaku?
100%.
I could see that. I think it's a great segue, honestly. We're gonna be
the next.
We're kind of doing things a little bit differently this week. Rather than do our predictions last, we're kind of going to be lumping our predictions in with kind of a discussion of everybody's playoff scenarios. Because nearly every single match has implications, not necessarily on who gets in or out of the playoffs, but where they end up in the playoffs. Seeding is everything. playing a team that's hot like Alt F4 can be a lot scarier than playing a team who's kind of on the down like Gravity right now. So how do you want to? Seeding is a lot. It could be a lot of things. We could see maybe some gamesmanship from people trying to pick their seed out a little bit, watching the scoreboards and seeing how things go there. But we'll see how that goes down. But we're going to start off here covering the really, in my opinion, the main event of the week. That's Harmony and Chaos and Otaku. Oh, by the way, Havoc. I'm going to actually talk about Havoc first. Havoc has a bye. And right now they are 9-5 with a 17 map differential. Regardless, they're going to be no worse than 5th. They have the bye, the Renegades forfeit, surprisingly. And they're going to be either 4th or 5th, depending on the results of the Solo Cup match. That's basically how that one spins out. So we will see what ends up. We'll see what ends up happening with that match. But that is the key thing there, is whatever happens with that Solo Cup. They'll be watching that Solo Cup and Gravity match very closely, I'm sure. But in the end, 4th or 5th, they're still going to face the other team that would be 5th or 4th. So it doesn't change that much for them. They're locked into that spot. That's not going to change, and we'll be watching that one closely to see how that goes down. So otherwise here, looking at the next match in question here, and really, in my opinion, the best match of the week is Harmony and Chaos and Otaku. This is a match for the number 1 seed. Harmony and Chaos and Otaku have the same record. They're the only teams with 3 losses. Let's first talk about Otaku, because they are number 1 in the standings right now. Otaku basically is this: if you win, you're the number 1 seed. If you lose, well, then there's some additional things that could happen here. If you lose, and Gravity gets a 4-0 against Solo Cup, you're going to be in the 3rd seed. But if you lose and Gravity gets less than a 4-0 against Solo Cup, then you're going to be solidly in the 2nd seed. So that's how that one is sitting there. It's going to be, and then going back to the opposite end here, we have Harmony and Chaos. Again, they're 11-3, top of the standings, win, 1st seed, loss, either 2nd or 3rd. So they're both kind of playing for the same stakes here. Top seed in the entire thing, basically the regular season trophy, if there was one, they could throw on their mantle here. Tons at stake, guys. It's a huge match for both teams. I want to hear from Specs on this one first.
Yeah, I'm really gonna kind of stick with Harmony there. I think they take it out 3-1, 4-0. To be completely honest, they just look unstoppable right now. Maxix scares me. There's not many players in the league that really, terrify me to go up against. But Maxix is one of them for sure.
Light Rose, what do you think?
I think Otaku takes it out 3-2. And I mean, Otaku, you got a lot more to lose than you have to gain, and you definitely don't want to go from 1st to 3rd, having to take out, possibly play, who would they play? Who's possibly 6th? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But it's not important. But I just think that Otaku, they're hungry for keeping their 1st place spot. Momentum beating 2nd place would be a big thing going into playoffs, and I think that would carry them through the match.
And Thug, what do you think about this one?
It's a tough one, man. I had 3-2 Harmony and Chaos, and mainly based on momentum. Harmony and Chaos has had some very decisive wins lately, and I'm going to echo with Specs on this one. Dude, Maxix is a big yikes for me. He's a scary man. He's probably one of the. I feel like Harmony and Chaos kind of gets forgotten a lot. We talk about a lot of really big DPS players, Velzins and Smugs and even Stories, people like that. But Maxix kind of sneaks in, and right now I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna cite my sources. NPC, Maxix is carrying him on their back, dude. Homeboy's crushing.
I mean, I went with Harmony in this one. I predict Harmony in a 3-1. I think everybody talks about, like you said, Harmony Chaos doesn't really get talked about a ton. They should. I don't know why they aren't in that same conversation as Otaku. We talk about, whenever we talk about top teams, I always hear Otaku and Gravity. And right. Frankly, it's not Otaku and Gravity anymore. It's Otaku and Harmony and Chaos. What's different about Harmony and Chaos, it's interesting. They have a great support line. Their tank line, Steve Buscemi he's definitely one of the most improved easily from last season. I played against him last season, and he was fine. He was a fine tank. There's nothing wrong with the way he was playing. The way he's playing this season, as long as he doesn't get tilted, is pretty nuts. He is very strong. He's got good game sense. He's also a pretty decent commentator. If you've been watching his main,
he's really fun.
Yeah, he's got a good,
Definitely.
he got a good voice for commentary. So he's doing a really good job with that team. We'll see more of him in the top 5 plays, by the way. But the thing with that team also is Garbaggio. Garbaggio, he's a good player last season. There's no question about that. Last season, his Soldier was seen as just a big threat, but the meta was moving away from Soldier. You know, his Soldier was still strong, but it was whatever, you know. We are now in a meta where Soldier is not whatever. Soldier is in fact quite strong now. And Garbaggio's Soldier is absolutely insane. So Harmony Chaos plays so many comps that are just different than what you'd expect. And they don't play a lot of the niche comps that other teams do. You know, like obviously Otaku is very well known for their dive, just like Meteors. Meta Rejects runs a lot of goats, which is ironic. You know, so it's, but like you see these kind of niche comps that people, but Harmony Chaos is unpredictable. They come at you with a lot of different things. And then there's Dane Club on his Genji, who is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's nutty, dude.
So it's just, their team is really solid all around. Harmony Chaos is going to win this one 3-1. I think they take the #1 seed. They're going to be, the thing is I'm going to look at them in the playoffs and I'm going to be wondering, how can I justify picking them over some teams? But then you look at their pedigree and their history, it's like, okay, I can start to justify this now. It starts to make sense. You start to think about it. Harmony's just an interesting case, guys. And I really like what they're doing. You know, obviously there's the whole Webbard for MVP or Handyfap for MVP thing. I like memes too, guys. That's great. But your team MVP is not Handyfap. Your team MVP is Maxix, and he puts you on your back 6, and he carries you some big wins. So, anyways, so moving on here, we're gonna go to there's only, like I said, there's only one match that does not have any playoff implications, and I do want to spend some time talking about that match to give them their fair just due here, and that's Liquid Nova versus Omnic Turtles. Both teams, obviously, the season did not go as well as they could have hoped for. We see Liquid Nova at 4-10 with a -19 map differential. They're locked into that 13th spot in the standings. They can't move up or down regardless of the result of this match. Right now, they're just competing because it's fun and for pride. And I guarantee you they'd probably try harder than Gravity did last week. So and then we're going to go over here to the Omnic Turtles next. And Omnic Turtles, they're 14th right now. They took the league by storm early, and they just, nothing was, like they couldn't carry it forward. Think, if they won those map 5s early, like win that map 5 against Havoc, you know, they put that alone right there. It spells a whole different season for the Omnic Turtles. Like the momentum got negative, and then it was just over. And they just couldn't get it back. So it's a shame. They can fall to last in the active teams, depending on the result of the Fighting Potatoes match. But again, they're playing for pride, playing for fun at this point, and obviously trying to build upon any successes for any potential teams for next season. Guys, again, no playoff implications here, but let's talk about it. Thug, what do you have?
This one I had Liquid Nova, mainly because they're still a more practice team. I know with Omnic Turtles had some turnover with captain and then a couple other people leaving too. So Liquid Nova is really tough. They're a tough win, and like I said, there was another 4-0 for Alta 4, but it was a close 4-0. As dumb as those sounds, sometimes 4-0s feel like absolute stompings, and sometimes they feel just like hard-fought victories that come down to alts.
Right.
I want to again thank specifically Liquid Nova and Omnic Turtles. Dude, y'all are fighting to the end. Last season, I know Specs can speak from experience. Teams last year that weren't going to make playoffs just quit. Literally quit.
Yep.
And it was like facing Gravity towards the end of the season. It was just a free 4-0, and it was tough. So good on you guys. I'm super proud of the community and what this community has become. So keep this shit up. Build for next year. The off season is much shorter. You guys can really gain momentum heading into it. And build and start crushing.
Did you give a winner for this match?
Yeah, Liquid Nova 3-1.
Liquid Nova 3-1.
Yeah.
Light Rose, go ahead.
Omnic Turtles 3-2.
Ooh,
Break the curse. Break the curse.
The map 5 at the end of the season to finish it off.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
Specs, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I also think it goes to a map 5, but Liquid Nova takes it. They're just more practice. They have more time together. That's not taking anything away from the Omnic Turtles. Watching their game back this week against Meteors, there's some real solid. There's a core there that can definitely carry them into the next season. You just need to play together more, and have more cohesion. But yeah, Liquid Nova definitely takes this one.
The core plays on the Fighting Potatoes. You know that, right?
Got him.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Okay. All good. All good.
Light Rose with a straight fire in this one.
15 and throwing dad jokes. Proud of you.
Wow, that's impressive. All right, so we move on now to myself here. I have Omnic Turtles winning this one. I have them in a 3-1. I do think they win this one. I think the reason is I put a lot on Hooks R Us on that team. I know Evo brings a lot to that team from a DPS perspective, but I think Hooks R Us brings a versatility that Evo does not have that is amazing for that team. And I think Hooks R Us, all in all, just based on versatility alone, is the best player on that team. And I think he is the reason why they win this 1-3-1. So, anyways, we'll move on to our next match here. Next match for this week is, well, we do have one playoff spot again up for grabs between Sugar Rush and Wrecking Crew. And we're going to start with the Sugar Rush match. They're taking on the Fighting Potatoes. So first and foremost, we'll go with Sugar Rush here. They are currently locked in the 10th spot, 7-7 with a 0 map differential. Same maps loss as 1. With a win here, they could get as high as 8th seed. So by no means are they going to be completely locked into 10th. In order to get up to the 8th seed, they are going to have to get in a situation where both Alta 4 and Meteors lose, which is possible. Very possible. And if that happens and the map differentials overcome, they could get as high as 8th seed. So Sugar Rush by no means is stuck in 10th, but consider the negative here. If Sugar Rush doesn't show up to this match, they could be out of the whole thing. And at worst, at best, they'll be locked into 10th. So Sugar Rush is in an interesting spot here. And then last, but of course, we don't want to forget everybody's favorite team, the Fighting Potatoes. 2-12 with a negative 37 map differential. Obviously, it hasn't been the season they were hoping for. But win or lose, they've already received our hearts. So we will go ahead around the horn and pick on this one right now. Specs, I know you're in this match. I mean, Sugar Rush is kind of you've been up and down an interesting road here for the past few weeks.
Yeah,
how are
it's
you guys
been a
feeling
ride
right now?
Well, considering I can't play this week, we're gonna take it 4-0. I can't throw match, so not much more there. Yeah.
Self-confidence.
Light Rose, what do you think?
I have Sugar Rush 4-0.
Sugar Rush 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thug, what do you think?
Literally the same thing Specs said. Specs is gone. It's an easy 4-0.
Exactly.
Let's go, baby.
So here's what's gonna happen.
No, it's for me. It's again. Sugar Rush is playing for their playoff hopes.
Yes,
and they're giving absolutely everything to this one. I don't think the Fighting Potatoes are going to throw by any means, because they try hard all the time, and I love that. But Sugar Rush is fighting for their playoff hopes. If the Sugar Rush we've seen the last 2 weeks shows up, easy 4-0. If the Sugar Rush from the previous 5 weeks show up, we'll see. Don't sleep on Potatoes, bro. We just played them, and it was a close 4-0. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's how I think this is going to go down. Sugar Rush, I love you. I picked you to win after week 1 and after the opening. Your DPS are insane. They're so good. You're so fun to watch. I just love you. You're so great. But I think you're going to win, but I think you're going to sleep a little bit on the Potatoes. I think that it's going to go to a map 5. I really do, and I think you're going to win it in map 5. I have this feeling. The main thing for me right now with the Potatoes is the play of T. Leo has suddenly peaked or has suddenly just risen to an insane level. Like, he was going shot for shot with stories and Godspeed and making them look silly at times. His Pharah play, his McCree, insane. And then there's Mousy. You're so busy worrying about Leo and his flanks. Suddenly Mousy's in the back of your team, killing your supports. You know, it's like Mousy, the only flanking Junkrat in the world, but at the same time, like if you're supposed, the Potatoes are just an interesting case of a team that has a lot of pieces that just don't gel, and it's just weird. But Sugar Rush, you have this thing where you're not sandbagging, but you just lose for dumb reasons, and I don't get it. You're gonna win this one still. It's gonna be close though. I think it's gonna be a 3-2. So we'll move on now to our next match here. This is the other side of that 10th seed. It's a big match here for Wrecking Crew. Now, Wrecking Crew, obviously, we spent a lot of time talking about them earlier before my rant on Gravity. Wrecking Crew is in a tough spot here. They've lost 3 straight.
Mm-hmm.
They're 6-8 right now with a -1 map differential. So that being said, that map differential's irrelevant. If they win and Sugar Rush loses, Wrecking Crew is it.
Yep.
That's what it is for them. They have to win, and they have to hope Fighting Potatoes beat Sugar Rush. It's going to be a tough get for Wrecking Crew for many reasons. Their team is just rebuilding, so we can't assume anything with this team right now. Obviously, I have a lot of faith in Cinnamon, and I have a lot of faith in a lot of the players they brought on, but at the same time, they're up against Illusion. Illusion has started slow, but kind of came on, and then they kind of dropped off a little bit. They're 9-5 with a +8 differential, currently locked in the 7th spot. They could move out of the wild card picture. They could move up into 6 with a win and a loss from Meta Rejects. And with a loss, they could slide down that wild card picture a little further. So it's kind of an interesting situation for Illusion. They were looking really good for a while, but they fell down the standings a little bit. I'm curious to get your guys' takes on this one here. I want to go Specs first.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really close match. Depending on how much time Wrecking Crew really have to gel together, I think that's going to be the determining factor in the end. But I have Illusion taking it 3-1. I think their bunker comp is just something that is next level. They were playing it when it wasn't meta, and it was very hard to play without Baptiste. So with that hero introduction, I think they're very hard to break down with that. So yeah, I have Illusion 3-1.
I would like Light Rose. Go ahead.
So I do have Illusion winning 3-1, but I think it's very easy to see Wrecking Crew actually coming through and winning this. I mean, versus Gravity, that match could have very easily gone to a map 5, and possibly Wrecking Crew could have taken it. Who knows? In an alternate universe somewhere. But maybe if this week they can get some synergy down, it's definitely possible. But I still have Illusion winning 3-1.
Thug, what do you think?
I also have Illusion 3-1, but kind of like what you guys said too, is this could very, very easily go the other way. It could very easily swing the other way. Illusion's gonna be without the ninja himself. And let's not forget, Wrecking Crew has one of the greatest names of all time in Velocifactor on their team. That carries a lot of weight. Y'all don't understand. That
Panda Fap versus Velocifactor. 1v1.
Andy Fap versus, oh my gosh.
One has to change their name.
One has to.
The legends.
This one's going to be tough. And again, regardless of the outcome for this one, I do want to give a shout out again to Cinnamon. Wrecking Crew went from one of the most hated teams in the league, mainly because of your former leader, to very beloved. If you're having a bad day, there's an entire channel in Tranquility Discord that will change your life. Having a bad day, Cinnamon throws 17 pictures in a day, and that's not an exaggeration.
It's an average,
No,
yes.
It's an average.
I'm gonna look at some picture now.
Yeah,
Dude,
get
it's
some
so good.
animal pics going here.
So I have 3-1 Illusion again because I don't think they want to fall into the playoffs. Or if they have an opportunity to not be in the wild card, give a week off, they're going to do that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Wrecking Crew takes this one. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I have Wrecking Crew winning this one. The reason is because I feel like Illusion, they've pulled out 2 straight reverse sweeps. Absolutely massive to get those reverse sweeps, by the way. Desperately needed against aimbots. Desperately needed that win. And then the previous week was against Gravity. I'm sorry, who they play the previous week?
It was Gravity.
Was it Gravity?
I think it was Gravity, yeah.
That's a great question.
I'm pretty sure.
It was Gravity, yep.
It was Gravity? Thank
Mods,
you.
by the way.
Huh?
I said mods, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? Best mods. So it's the reason why I have trouble believing in illusion is I feel like sometimes the cohesion between their players isn't really as strong as it needs to be. Sometimes it feels like they rely way too heavily on a pop off rather than a set organized move. And I feel like it works because they have good DPS. Asura Velo and Black Ninja are great. Jewish Missile is a super good, low-key, underrated, I know I said it, underrated tank for sure.
Oh, we're all taking a drink, I see.
Yeah, so it's... But that being said, I believe Wrecking Crew is going to get the job done this week because they have to. That's going to make the Sugar Rush situation, if everything falls the way I predicted it, it's going to be so spicy. If that falls exactly that way, because Sugar Rush literally would need to win that map 5 to get in the playoffs. So if they don't, they're out. So I would just love that, just from a viewer's perspective. Maybe it's a little ambitious for me, but so that being said, I don't know, guys. I want to go Wrecking Crew here. I really do. I feel like Cinnamon is going to rally the troops.
Could you imagine 2 weeks ago if you would have picked Wrecking Crew and said anything nice about them?
Get the pitch.
And said something nice about them. Yeah, I know, right? But Cav took out the trash on Wednesday, so that took care of that situation.
Cav took out the trash.
Yeah. Don't become a problem for Cav. Cav deals with his problems, by the way, guys. So we'll move on here. We got another match on the docket. This one does not have a playoff spot on the line, but it does have potential playoff positioning on the line for one of the teams involved. We're going to start here with Aimbots. Aimbots is playing up against Alt F4, and Aimbots, obviously, the fairy tale has ended for the Aimbots. They were in a situation where they could have snuck in, even with that abysmal map differential. They almost snuck back in, guys. Huge credit to that team for pulling it together, but unfortunately, it just didn't come together as well as they needed it to. That reverse sweep killed them. Killed them. So they're 6-8 now with -9. That map deficit is just too large to overcome, unfortunately. So they're out regardless of the result this week. But I know they'll still be coming and competing against Alt F4. Alt F4, you guys are in a situation now where you're in. Considering how bad the beginning of the season started, you were 14th in the standings.
Yes, we were.
Yeah, so good job, Alt F4, pulling it back out, guys. Alt F4 is 7-7 with a +3 map differential here. Win, they could get as high as 7th. They cannot climb out of the wild card, but they could change their positioning a little bit here. But even with a win, they could slide to 9th, depending on how the Sugar Rush match goes. There's tons of variability here, guys, with how their positioning could end up. Regardless, I know Thug. That team's just coming to win. So, yeah. I know they want to compete at a higher level after... I know Thug was really disappointed with the match they had last week against the Fighting Potatoes. I think you agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Light Rose, do you have anything to say about this one?
Part of me really wants to go Aimbots.
I know, right?
Part of me really wants to go Aimbots.
Which part's the wrong part?
Strongly wants to go Aimbots.
They're going to come in together. They've got like I said, I talked about the synergy, but then part of it is they're out. What's the point?
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is gonna really come back and be prevalent in that game. So that's why Alt F4 takes it 3-1.
Specs, what do you think?
Yeah, I really wish this game was last week. I think it would have changed it completely. Aimbots are a solid team. They have a really solid roster there. I just can't see them taking it, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to put the prep time they really need to into it, and Monkey's scary. So going to take Alt F4 3-1 there.
I think Alt F4 4-0s. I think Alt F4 is going to make a bit of a statement game here. Especially after, I think, what they would perceive as a disappointing match against the Potatoes last week. Even though they 4-0'd, they gave it more than they wanted to, and you could tell. So I'm sure Thug has the boys ready to go.
Yep.
So, all right.
Yep.
We will move on here to another match. Aimbots Alt F4 is done. The next match here is Gravity versus Solo Cup. Obviously, I spent enough time ripping on Gravity. Let's talk about what they are doing right now. They're 10-4, plus 25 map differential. With a win, well, they would be potentially up to the second seed or third seed. If they lose, they're looking at fourth or fifth and a match against Havoc. So a lot at stake here for Gravity. We'll see what they try. We'll see what they do in this one. The other team is Solo Cup, and ever since the dabbening, they've lost one game. So, and that one match was last week, for the record, which is interesting. I didn't expect that one, but they lost anyways. So
it was planned so that Harmony and Otaku would have it. Would be that brawl, make it entertainment.
Wise. They're very. Very giving.
Ask Zuby about that.
Yeah. I'll remember to ask Zuby about that, guys. With the win, they are locked into third. There's nothing that can move them out of third. They will be there regardless with a win. With a loss, it depends. It depends on a lot of factors. They could slide all the way to the 6th seed. So a win would be pretty big here for Solo Cup here, setting up their future match choices. I know pretty clearly, I'm sure they would rather be a 3rd seed than a 4th or a 6th seed. I don't know who they would want to play. Maybe they want to play Havoc. Who knows? But we'll be interesting to see what they have to say here. Thug, I want to hear from you first, though.
It's gonna be 4-0 Solo Cup. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. If Gravity's not going to spend a lot of time preparing and actually playing for series, then I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. Next.
Light Rose, how you feeling going into the match? The confidence is brimming.
Great input.
Specs, what do you think?
4-0 Solo Cup. Zuby is going to rip into that team. I know he's going to be doing it, and anything besides a 4-0, he's definitely going to be disappointed with. So
I agree. It's going to be a 4-0 Solo Cup. I don't think there's any way Solo Cup doesn't 4-0 this one. I just don't see it.
I want to interject.
Go on.
We were hard on Gravity.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have to step in and be somewhat of a good cop. Orsted and Valzen together are incredibly terrifying.
They had a worse record with Orsted and Velzen together.
Right.
Just Velzen.
Hear me out. You were talking about Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Velzen is a Soldier main. Orsted plays a fantastic Sombra, maybe second to Stories. And I know, right? Shh, it's a spice. Leave me alone. Don't sleep on that combo. I understand that the rest of the team may be, and the hardest part is, can 2 Masters GM players carry a mid-plat team? We will find out. Stay tuned for the Overwatch Tranquility Community Playoffs.
Overwatch Tranquility is an anime.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting match. We'll see what it kind of comes down to what Gravity does, really, for me.
Mm-hmm.
If the real Gravity stands up, then things might be different. But I don't think they're going to, and I think Solo Cup is gonna roll them. I really do. Solo Cup is the team that probably scares me the most right now in the whole community.
Yep.
They just do. Even though they lost.
You should be scared.
Even
Zuby
though they
has figured out how to DDoS people too.
Yes.
So watch
Yeah.
it.
Even though
It's
they
been
lost
every
last-
map.
even though they-
VPNs.
even though they lost last week to Harmony, I still fear Solo Cup more than I fear it.
Yep.
All right,
Play on VPNs. I'm just saying VPNs.
Our
Got
last
that red
match.
button that just says DDoS.
Sorry.
Our last match of the week here, guys, is Meta Rejects versus Meteors. Obviously, Meta Rejects is kind of locked comfortably in the middle of the pack. The win, they could move up to 5th, depending on how that Solo Cup and Gravity match goes. If they lose, they could fall back to 7th, depending on the result of that Illusion matchup. They're up against Meteors. Meteors is an interesting team. We talk a lot about the potential on that team. They're 8-6 with a +2 map differential. They're locked into the playoffs. Again, they're kind of it's basically the same story as Alt F4. Right now, they're just jockeying for wild card position. They win 7th to 9th, they lose 8th to 10th. It's identical. So, guys, if you want a full breakdown on all these playoff scenarios, by the way, please check out what Smugs put into the Iris discussion channel.
Legend.
Legendary, dude.
Smugs, absolute legend. Basically breaking down everything that could possibly happen that would result in different people ending up in different seats. So,
It's impressive.
yeah,
Really impressive.
It really is impressive. He was up till 3 a.m. last night doing that. That's more dedication than I'm willing to put into this. So, thank you, Smugs, for the contributions there. So it's a good read if you guys are curious. If you guys are playoff junkies like I am, take a look at that definitely. It's an interesting match. Meta Rejects, Meteors. Thug, what do you think?
Oh man, I have meta on this one. I was torn. I was really, really torn on this one. I know both teams at this point it's just seeding, and so both teams are going to want to win. But I feel like Meta Rejects are just a little bit too strong. It sounds bad, but Meteors, your roster is almost too deep. You can't get a lot of rhythm with the team and with the DPS synergy going in and out. And Meta Rejects has really figured out their flow, figured out their comps, figured out who's subbing in when. It's not just oh shit, we gotta get their 2 maps. It's nope, these players are playing at these places in these scenarios. We're playing this. So I'm going meta 3-2. I still think it's gonna be both teams are a little bit of take the foot off the gas. I mean, you're locked in. Those mentalities do sneak in sometimes, and if it's looking sideways on a map 5, I can see one way just pulling it out. But
Light Rose. Light Rose, what do you think?
I had Meteors taking this one 3-1. I think Daddy's gonna match Peter, and I think he is.
What's
I think
in
he
that
is.
water bottle, young man?
Don't worry about it.
He is from Wisconsin. We all know they put Leinenkugels directly into the water supply.
Yeah.
So,
Directly into my veins.
Rush can confirm that.
But I think Daddy's gonna match Peter, and Peter can do things for meta. I'm not gonna bring out the 2 words, but I think that Meteors is overall a better team, and I think that they can beat Meta Rejects. I'm watching you. I'm not backing down from this. I have Meteors 3-1.
you're welcome. Specs, go ahead.
Yeah, going from one bold prediction to another. I've Meta Rejects 4-0. Peter's Daddy's a very solid player. Peter's next level. Meteors runs dive. What counters dive? Goats.
Just go Goats, forehead.
Yeah,
Just go Goats,
I
please,
mean,
bro. I just need one more win, bro. Goats, please, bro.
unfortunately, if Yeti is not working on the main tank, they have a pretty decent backup there as well. So I really think Meta Rejects
Excuse
just
me, but what
walk
the fuck?
all over them.
I'm really excited to play against Meteors. I loved playing against them. The one opportunity that I've had so far, which is in a scrim. Last season, I joined the Potatoes after they played Meteors already. This season, I jumped off the Potatoes before they played the Meteors. So I haven't had an opportunity to play the Meteors in 2 seasons. So I'm actually really excited to play against them. Yeah, I know. I'm really looking forward to playing against the Meteors. I cannot wait to get into a main tank battle with HQC that I'm sure he's going to win. But I at least want to be competitive. But I'm excited to play this match. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love the people on Meteors. Obviously, they're awesome. Most of them are incredible community contributors as well. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited to play this match. It's going to be a lot of fun. Good warm up for the playoffs. So that's it, guys. That's our predictions for the week. It's going to be a spicy week, everyone. I'm really excited. We're going to kind of mix it up here. We're going to have a little bit of fun before we close out the podcast here. Obviously, with Overwatch League, they just wrapped up Stage 1. They're midway through Stage 2 right now. And what's fun to talk about, in my opinion, is how our teams would compare to Overwatch League. And not in skill, because we would get stopped. Badly. Badly.
Wrecked.
Yeah, right.
Like, Washington Justice would come in and dab all over our corpses. It would be hilarious.
Mhm.
So that being said, what I want to talk about is how do our teams have like an analogous comparison, like a
Real
metaphor almost.
That's a great word, dude.
Analogous?
Solid.
Oh, that's great.
I know, right?
10 out of 10.
Thank you. I love it too.
Tim would be so proud.
Yeah.
I attribute it to beer number 2. So what we're doing here is we're going to talk about a team and basically kind of think, like, what is that team? When you hear that team, what do you think? So the first team here is NYXL. They're viewed as the favorite in every match. And what did everybody amongst our casters think? Who is the team that's the favorite in every match? Well, it's Otaku. We all kind of were in the same page there. I'm not going to spend a whole going around everybody here when we say that, but I think everybody was kind of in the same page here, was Otaku. Do you have anything to say on that, Specs?
Nope. They're just next level. They're consistent. That I think that's the thing that really came into it in the back of my mind. Maybe with NYXL, the sandbagging gravity.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
Even in a loss, people still put them number one. I just want to point that out. That just tells you they're the NYXL team. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Exactly. We're gonna go to now the San Francisco Shock. Started slow, going back to last season, but right now they're definitely seen as one of the top teams. We had a little split here. We had two people, myself and Specs, picked Solo Cup. Light Rose and Thug. Thug picked his own team.
Oh yeah.
Boo!
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's
Wow,
illegal.
Thug, you got a little bit of moxie there, picking your own team, buddy. What do you want to say about that?
Take your hand
I
off
don't
your
think. I
back.
just don't think Solo Cup started slow. Like, what world were you guys living in?
They were
had
1-3.
Yeah, they had. It was 4 matches in. Like, everyone's still trying to figure
That's the
shit
start.
That was
isn't
a
it?
third of the season, nearly.
out. But Alt F4 was 2-5. 2-5.
yeah, but you have to remember, we said a major threat.
Ooh.
That's why I picked us and not Solo Cup.
Ooh.
Hey,
You
Light
guys
Rose, do you have
watching
Light
video
Rose?
games?
Do you have a response to that?
Boo, Dad. Boo.
Come on, kid. Come on, kid.
Boo.
Wow.
At least I didn't have the audacity to pick my own team for any of these.
Wait, didn't you pick your team here?
I swear I didn't.
Hold on, gotta go back to the VOD.
I didn't.
No, he took
He
all
picked
Alt
You
F4.
picked Alt F4. You were right. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Specs was with me on the Solo Cup.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I don't have that big of an ego.
Yes, you do.
That's
You're 15. You're 15 years old.
You're
better
naturally
than
an ego.
everybody. Better than
All
everybody.
right, so we're gonna move on now. Dallas Fuel. They have the largest Twitter following. They are the fan favorite. And really, the answer to this: did anybody have any question?
Woo!
It's the Fighting Potatoes. They're everybody's
Easy
favorite team.
clap.
And I do want to say, it's not for me. Like, obviously, I'm friends with a lot of them, and I think a lot of it gets kind of focused on the meme aspect of the Fighting Potatoes. It's more than a meme with them. That's the thing I'm going to say about them. They're good people. They're really
Yes.
fun to play against, and they are awesome in the Discords. They're funny to chat with when they're online. Yeah, and then the @Dimtree meme is just legend. Anybody else have anything to say about the Potatoes?
They are legit good people.
Mhm. They owe you a beer still.
I know, fucking core. But no, even if you listen to their streams, they're having fun the whole time. And even when they're losing and it's 1-3, 0-4, they're still laughing, having a good time, enjoying what this is. It's Overwatch. You're supposed to have fun in this game.
Mhm.
Even as much as us, we get triggered like at the outset and like want to quit and like just literally Alt F4 out of the game. They're having fun. They're laughing.
Triggered.
I know.
Minnesota.
All right. Well, yeah, I know, right? We'll move on now. We have the Houston Outlaws, Thug's favorite team. I'm sorry, Thug.
Unironically.
Unironically, his favorite team.
No, what I
Wait,
got.
Hold on.
Oh, I gotta stand up.
Are you an Outlaws fan
Hey.
too?
Yeah, I'm an Outlaws fan, man.
That's unfortunate.
Season
Oh my
1.
God.
Season
Kitty's
1.
in the chat. I feel Kitty.
I'm sorry. I just assumed all Packers fans were
Oh, yeah.
naturally played favorites all the time.
It's painful. The season is painful.
All right. So, anyways, Houston Outlaws, basically a team. They're just kind of stuck in their ways. They do the same stuff. They run the same roster. They probably should make some changes, but they don't. And we mix it up here. We had 4 different teams. Thug picked Havoc, Specs with Illusion. I picked Gravity, and Light Rose picked Sugar Rush. And I actually want to talk about this one a little bit. Let's go to Specs first.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about Illusion just they don't change. They run the same things over and over. They seem very just stuck in their ways. I don't know. Just playing against them, I really got that vibe from them.
Light Rose, what do you think?
I think Sugar Rush, that DPS. I think throughout the season, everybody's kind of maybe been slowly getting up. And a lot of people were down here. Sugar Rush was up here. And so as everybody started kind of going, they started advancing. And that's why Sugar Rush is fighting for a spot to get in the playoffs, is they haven't improved as much as a lot of the other teams in the league. And that's why at the beginning of the season, they were, in that top 3, top 5, and now they're barely top 10. It's because they're stuck in their ways, and they haven't improved as much.
Thug, what do you think?
I chose Havoc mainly because I think they kind of rested on their laurels for a while. They came out to a really strong start, kind of like what Light Rose said, and the rest of the community caught up, and they tried new things. They embraced different things. They found their identity, and Havoc just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again. And kind of they have talented players, individual talented players, but think about what the Houston Outlaws' biggest problem is. It's their supports.
I said Gravity, and beyond the meme at this point. For me, Gravity relies way too much on a Velzen Orsted pop-off. That's the win con. Granted, it's a damn good win con.
Right.
But the community has grown beyond that right now. I just don't see it. I don't. And I think their team is just too stuck in the idea that they have to have Orsted and Velzen pop off to win. Now, granted, if they get in a situation where they click for like 3 straight matches, they're going to win it all. Then they could. They very well could. I'm not saying Gravity's incapable of doing that, but they're definitely not a favorite in my opinion. Not even close. So, anyways, Outlaws is an interesting one. We have the Philly Fusion next. Definitely a ton of potential on paper with that team, but they collapse all the time. They always seem to play down to their opponents here. We had a big mix. We had Light Rose with Liquid Nova, myself, and Specs picking his own team here with Sugar Rush. Spicy. We're going to hear from him on that one. And then Thug picked Gravity. I'm going to start with you, Specs. You picked your own team, threw them under the bus. Let's hear what you have to say.
I mean, does it have to do with the fact that I'm from Philly and a Fusion fan? Maybe. But we were, there was a while there we were just not playing up to our potential. I think we were very stuck in learning specific things that, to be honest, took a while to learn, and definitely not going to reveal them a little bit. But really happy with how far we've come, and I think when it comes to playoff time, we're going to really capitalize and really take that to the next level.
I said Sugar Rush as well here. It's just because we built them up so much, and the fall from grace was just painful to watch.
Caster Curse.
Caster Curse, honestly, I don't know. Like, legitimately, week 1, Thug and I picked Sugar Rush as our favorites. Mm-hmm. They were picked by the community week 1 to be the favorites. Well, not so much. So, I mean, they're a capable DPS bunch. I never would bet anything against Cognitive Pit, Riley Bad, Guac, and Lays. Not ever. No way. Right. Not happening. But again, I agree. There's so much potential there, but they collapse way too often.
To piggyback off that too,
yeah,
what happened to? They were the 6th seed in Owl playoffs last year. Where'd they end up?
Well, it's funny because we're in line to be the 6th seed this season. Thanks, buddy. Meta Rejects, season 2 champions. Thanks, buddy. Season 2, even I guess runner-ups, but whatever. Light Rose, I want to hear from you here.
It was a debate between Liquid Nova and Omnic Turtle. If we're looking at the teams that have the potential but constantly fall apart, I had to go with Liquid Nova. They had Player. Player was a main tank. He's a good main tank. And they had a lot of capable people on their team, but it just fell apart. And maybe that's the side of the more mentality side of it, how comps are played, who's playing what. But for me, it's just, they have a lot of potential. They just fell apart, and now it's way too late.
Thug, I want to hear from you too. You picked who'd you pick? Gravity?
Yep.
We've been digging on Gravity today. Granted, a lot of it's been justified, but I want to hear from
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Well, they all had the big hole from the sand. They seem like one of those teams that is playing around their DPS to pop off. You look at Fusion, and I'm going to say it's an unpopular opinion. Sato's not a bad tank.
No, he shit.
No, he
The
sucks.
problem, the problem is the rest of the team is never where he is, ever.
Isn't that kind of his problem though?
But they're always off doing. Carpe is trying to hard carry because he's stuck in Zarya jail. But you can't focus on two people and expect to fucking win in this game, and especially in this community. You can't. You have to play as a 6. They're just fucking not. Yeah, it's all your eggs are in one basket. And if that basket doesn't show up, they're fucked.
The Easter Bunny crushed your eggs.
We're going to move on to the Atlanta Reign here. They talk the talk. They talk a big game, but they haven't really walked the walk yet. We got a variety here. Specs and Light Rose both picked Wrecking Crew, and I feel like this is historical.
I'd like to see.
Wrecking
When I sent my DMs into C3, I put old Wrecking Crew.
You sure did, and I'm going to flash that really quick because the scene ended before I could finish up.
Old
But yeah, so we had Wrecking Crew for Specs and Light Rose. Thug, you picked Illusion in something that I'm sure is going to make Black Ninja ask questions here. And then I picked Aimbots. And I'm going to start this one. And the thing with Aimbots that I see is I see them a lot talking in chat, saying things like, well, why not us? Well, no offense. There's a reason not you guys. You're 12th in the standings. Like, I love you guys. You guys are great. Cracked Fob, hell of a player. You know, the active ones in Discord, Orca, you know, you're great. Obviously, Just Savage is one of my favorite tanks to watch. I love watching his stream. He's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you're 12th in the standings. Don't come to me begging for screen time. That's not how life works. I have 11 teams who are currently better than you guys, at least in standings. And like, when I'm making the podcast and hey, talk about the aimbots more. It's like, I want to, but y'all aren't doing the much. And when you started winning, guess who we talked about? The aimbots. It's the craziest thing. If you win the game, we talk about you positively. Holy shit!
Shocker.
I know, guys. So honestly, yeah, aimbots bother the hell out of me with that. Thug, you picked. Whoa, God. Okay, Thug, you picked Illusion.
I picked Illusion because I remember back to Nick Saul on this podcast. Just cocky as hell. They were rolling. They beat Havoc. They were just crushing. They were gonna 4-0 everybody. Watch the fuck out. Here they go, and then a loss, and then a loss, and then a loss, and they kind of, where are you, brothers? Like, and I'm taking this personally because I picked you guys to be in the finals, and if you're not in the fucking finals, I'll be mad at you because I don't like to be wrong ever.
You might play them in the wild card game.
I know, and if that happens,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to beat myself, and then
Conflicted.
literally beat myself.
It's gonna be weird.
But yeah, man, it's just, where the fuck are you? Where are you? Hello? Show up.
So, Light Rose and Specs, you guys both talking about old Wrecking Crew. But can we all just say that new Wrecking Crew is wonderful?
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic.
Oh,
Great.
100%.
No, so much
new
better.
Wrecking Crew.
Big
Love to cinnamon.
Those
Love
guys.
to cinnamon.
It's literally almost like the only reason why we hated Wrecking Crew was their prior leader.
Who
No,
would've
yeah,
thought?
that basically was the reason.
Yeah, I know, right? I think we're all in the same boat. Guys, go check out that picture channel in the Discord. That'll warm
Also,
up your day.
support cinnamon in her
Have put
charity.
work into that.
Yes, support
Yeah.
your local animal shelters, folks. That's the main thing there that I'll get from that. Let's see here, and the next one on our list is the Toronto Defiant. This is more based on last season or last stage. The thing with obviously the stage they kind of been in. IM37 is not a good Zarya. We know. Yeah, the thing with the Defiant is they were under the radar. Nobody was really talking about them, but they pulled off some huge wins. And they're still a really good team. And we had a wide variety here. Specs picked Meta Rejects. I picked Alt F4. Thug picked Meteors. And Light Rose picked the Aimbots. So we have a wide variety here. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that. For me, it was just Alt F4. But they're not really under the radar anymore. It's hard to call them that now. They're just a good team. Like, I would put them comfortably in that same top 8 of anybody can win in this pile of 8 teams. They're there. So, Thug, why want to hear from you on this one.
I picked Meteors, and I just thought early season, it's like Meteors are here. Uh-oh, Reaper's getting a buff, red gear, and then everyone just kind of forgot. They disappeared. The only thing we talked about with them was how toxic that team was, and it was all negative publicity. Some of it warranted, a lot of it probably unwarranted.
Fossil is not free.
Right. But that team is, watch the fuck out, dude. That team is now better with Daddy than they were with Fossil.
God, yes.
For sure.
They from the sounds of it, they actually like to play with him, and it's not a, oh shit, we can't do this because he's gonna get pissed. No offense to Fossil, but that's what it sounded like. And yeah, that team is just capable to pop the fuck off. So watch it.
Light Rose.
I mean, aimbots, they started out this whole thing, they beat gravity. And maybe that was partly the garbage time mentality, the sandbagging. But I think aimbots are capable. They're capable, and that's the wording, is they're capable of these big wins.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it didn't come through. They were super close. But I think for this, the ticket for me is that they're capable. And they just started too late. Rolling on that train.
Yep.
Specs, you picked Meta Rejects.
Yeah. I was really looking. My criteria for this was kind of a mid, table team that was there, but no one really thought of too much. And I think Meta Rejects and Illusion were pretty neck and neck with that. But since picking up a new main tank, Meta Rejects have been solid. Have you guys lost a match yet? You lost
Yes.
one?
Yep,
One.
lost solo cup.
Yep. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that doesn't count.
Yeah.
It does count.
Yeah, no, just the whole team from top to bottom there. It's solid. They can really, I can see them going far in the playoffs for sure.
God, I hope so. That'd be fun. Our last team is everybody's favorite Overwatch League team, the Chengdu Hunters. Most fun to watch. They really are the most fun to watch. And this one, we had a small split. Thug and Specs. Specs picked his own team. Again,
Oh, okay. Specs giving me.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Yes,
I did.
And then I picked Harmony and Chaos, and Light Rose picked Meteors. We're not going to spend too much time on this one. I think it's self-explanatory. The DPS pop-offs from these teams are just awesome. That's the main reason, right? Are we all on the same page there? Or
Yep.
HQC, I'm sure, is a big thing for you, right, Light Rose?
Yes, I like him.
Yes.
Not in that way.
He's fantastic. HQC is wonderful. And then for me, Harmony and Chaos, because I love watching Cavs streams. That's mainly it. Like, I love
That's
Cavs
another
streams.
team that just has fun together. They really enjoy playing
they
with
have
each other.
So much fun. Like, their team would be so fun to be a part of. I love my team, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't
like-
trade it for the world. But like, if I could be on another team, it'd probably be the Meta Reject, or could be Harmony and Chaos, because they're just fun. They're cool people.
Yeah. I got to play we got to do the legendary with 3 legendary event things with 3 of Harmony. That was a fun night. That is a fun night.
That's it, guys. That's all we had on that. So it's kind of a fun thing to talk about, some of the comparisons, kind of team superlatives, if you will. As a quick reminder for everyone, we have a couple things before we move on here to the top plays, which we'll be wrapping up our cast on. The end of season awards, I posted those categories up. If you want to get nominees, you can nominate up to 4 per category. If you want to send me those nominees, please PM them to me directly. We'll be announcing our nominees for these awards during the next podcast, which is the next podcast, by the way, will be massive. It is our playoff prediction mega cast, where we will be having 6 of us on here breaking down brackets, talking about playoff matches, and throwing out our predictions as to who's going to take the whole damn thing. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. So please get your end of season awards stuff to me as soon as you can. The next thing I want to talk about is the All-Star nominations. If you didn't see them, they're flashed up on the screen, guys. You have one more day to get those in. The votes are very close. And as a reminder, MVP of the community is decided by who has the most All-Star votes. For what I understand right now, from the counts that I've heard, we have a very close race for that.
Ooh.
I think it was tied last I heard.
Yeah, so it's
That's
very,
nasty.
very close at the top, guys. So if you haven't voted for All Stars yet, please get your votes in as soon as you can.
Yes.
Wrong button. but it doesn't actually matter because we're on the wrong scene. All right, back to us. I'm so scuffed right now.
We're back.
And the last thing I want to spend a little bit of time on here, and I'm going to pull up the list really quick from is the skills challenge that's going to be coming up around the corner here.
Yes.
That's 2 weeks out, guys. We're going to have a lot of
Excited.
fun with that. We have 12 competitors from 12 different teams. We have quickly copy the list down here. We have Hooks R Us coming in on from Amit Turtles, O Speed from Alta 4, Race FPV from, or I'm sorry, that's O Stories. O Speed? Is that God's Story or Godspeed? Or which?
O Speed.
I've been drinking too much for this shit.
No, that's okay. O Speed is Godspeed.
Why do you do this?
I didn't. They're just dumb and blame Beth. It's all Beth's
It's Beth's fault? Oh, okay. It's
No.
Beth's fault.
They-
Okay.
Don't bully Beth. Please don't
No,
bully
Beth's
Beth.
getting bullied.
Beth's being
She's
bullied?
gonna get bullied as a doctor so much by parents that coming in think they know better for their kids.
Oh,
Get
God.
used to it, kid.
Yeah, get used to it.
God Stories and O Speed.
Race FPV from Harmony and Chaos, Spooderman from Solo Cup, Smugs from Otaku, NPC from Gravity, Riley Bad from Sugar Rush, Gecko from the Meta Rejects, Kitty Baka from Meteors, Dunzo from Havoc, Ooh from Wrecking Crew, and Solitary Bird from the Fighting Potatoes. Guys, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Thug and I will be casting that. And
I'm excited.
yeah, I know it's going to be a blast. And on top of that, we have a special bonus for you guys after that match, or after the skills challenge. We're going to be doing All Stars a little differently this season. So rather than them just being put into arbitrary teams based on whatever, Thug and I are going to be drafting the All Star teams. We're not going to be playing per se, but we will be drafting the All Star teams. So we'll be having our all-star team draft after the skills challenge. That is on May 6th at 8:30 Eastern time, guys. Tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun that night. And if you are interested, after the podcast tonight, everyone, I will be hosting a lobby. And that lobby will be devoted to basically play testing some of these games that I'm going to be playing. Want to test some things out on that, make sure they look good, make sure I can spectate them cleanly, and make sure they aren't completely scuffed. So if you are interested in participating in a play test of those modes, I'll be logging into Overwatch as soon as I'm done with this podcast here tonight, and I'll be starting up a lobby, so let me know, and I would love to get you guys in to have some fun. I think that is all for our announcements. Anything else I'm forgetting here, Thug?
Sidereal.
Oh yes, Sidereal. Yes, you brought up a great question.
Sidereal.
Playoff schedule. Thank you for the reminder. I know I mentioned I'd get to it. I apologize I didn't get to it sooner, Sidereal. So yes, the playoff schedule. So the way that's going to work is the first four. And actually here, I'm going to quickly grab this picture that I have because I do have a picture that I can flash up here really quick. So basically, what's going to work is the first four teams are going to be in a what effectively is a Bingo. Done. Fit to screen. So first four teams are going to be what's in basically a wild card. 7 plays 10, and 8 plays 9. And then let's fit to screen and flash it up there. There we go. All right, so you can see on this screen here, guys, we have seed 7 and 10 will play each other. The winner of that will take on the second seed, and the seed 8 and 9 will play each other, and the winner of that will take on the first seed. That next week is the wild card round. There will only be 2 scheduled matches after week 15. So those are the only 2 matches. We are going to try to feature as much as we can throughout the playoffs with broadcasts. Obviously, Wednesday is still going to be the default date for everything. So we might not be able to devote our resources to broadcasting every single match, but we're going to devote as much as we can. If you want to reschedule to other times and nights in order to allow your match to be broadcasting, that's certainly up to the teams. The quarterfinals are going to be rough. We're probably not going to be able to broadcast anything. Semifinals, we'd definitely like to broadcast as much as we can. So pay attention to that, guys. We'll be kind of communicating with team captains quite a bit during this time. The finals, obviously, will be broadcast with our fullest resources for that match. And we're probably going to be able to broadcast at least one of the wildcard matches. So we'll sort that out as time permits, guys. But we'll devote as much time as we can to that. So next week, we will have that. Playoffs are best of 7. They are not best of 5. They are best of 7. So slightly longer matches in that regard. So throughout the playoffs, best of 7 maps. So that is something to look forward to there. Let's see here. I think that is about it with questions. I didn't see anything else popping out.
Nope.
So I think we're going to go
Wrap
ahead.
it up quick. We're getting more questions.
Before we get more questions, wrapping it up here, we're going to go to everybody's favorite segment, the top 5 plays. And this is actually top 7 because I had trouble narrowing it down. We have Steve Buscemi from Harmony and Chaos. We talked about him earlier. This is kind of a rough perception here, but if you're paying close attention, you'll see he just earth shattered there, and he gets the nano, he swings to the team, and then guess what he does right about now? He shatters again. It is a 9-second shatter for those of you who are counting at home. 9 seconds, 2 shatters, a team wipe. Dang, that is clean. Black 96 from Illusion here. I really liked this play. And again, it's another Rhine shatter, and people make fun of me for that. He's just kind of asserting himself and just marching through 6 players. He gets the nano, maybe an unnecessary nano in hindsight, but goddamn, that was a good, clean shatter there. Set up that team kill. We have another player from Illusion, Black Ninja. Black Ninja came up huge on this play. He actually called me out directly in his stream when this happened. He pops the tire right on top of the cart, gets the 3K at Dibtrees in chat, and just pops off in a big way. We have Stories from Alt F4. Stories. And you better believe we were saying that in the feature match here. We're going to quickly get over. He gets the headshot there onto the Moira, headshot on the Junkrat, and finishes off the Orisa. Stories indeed. Massive plays from Stories. He had a really, really good map here. Then we have this guy here from Meta Rejects. This is a really good shatter. Set up by Kingdoms on the Maywall. He cancels Yojack's shatter with the shatter, takes out 5 with the shatter itself, and then marches through the team and finishes up a team kill. And he was so exhausted at the very end that he just decided, you know what? Now's a good time to take a nap. So he did.
So he slept.
All right, now we have Gillamed from Meteors. Gil's playing some good off-tank for that team right now, and it showed up here in a pretty nice way. Pops up into the air at the end of Hollywood and just, hello, with a 4K. Nice little 4K there from Gil. They did not see that coming, and a big play there from for the Meteors. We have T. Leo really on, I think, his coming out party, it seemed, kind of waiting, blam! 4K, and he finishes off the Brigida here with the fan, the hammer, and then the headshot to end it all. He was not able to get the 6K because it got stolen by the greedy supports from Fighting Potatoes. But good plays all around from on this one here. I had trouble narrowing it down. I gotta hear from you guys. What do you have to say, Thug? Pick your play.
Leo. That's an easy clap there. The patience just to wait it out. Being on the opposite side of that is the longest ult of all time. You never fucking figured it out. But man, I'll give it to Leo. That was huge. He came up big in that entire map and was kind of really scary. I didn't like playing against him.
Light Rose, what do you think?
To me, it was between Stories and T. Leo, and I think I have to go with T. Leo. He played great, and that play was really an emphasis of the game, or how he did in the game. You know, the patience, waiting for just the right moment, and almost the 6K, basically.
Yeah.
The 6K.
Mm-hmm.
And he just did great, honestly.
Specs, what do you think?
Have we had a Diva Bomb yet?
We've had a Diva Bomb. BethCon had a Diva Bomb earlier this season.
Yeah,
That bomb.
but
It was pretty great.
it was solid. But you know, that from Gilmed right there, that's off tanks don't get enough love. I'm going with the Diva Bomb.
I was torn between Leo and Stories. Leo and Stories clicked 4 heads, and I know he's saying that in chat right now, and I'm reading
Literally and figuratively.
He clicked 4 heads. For me, I know the vote doesn't matter, but I'm going with Stories. But in the end, it's a T. Leo win. So congrats, T. Leo from the Fighting Potatoes. You do get the play of the week this week with that 5K. guys, make sure to send in your plays for week 15. Once we get through week 15, we will be taking every single play that we get, including the playoffs. Every single play we get, the top play for each week. Then wild card, then quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. Send me your plays. I will be taking every single top play. We'll be putting them into a poll. The winning play will then be picking a play of the year from that, guys. So play of the year is going to be a thing that will be coming up here real soon, guys. Wow, Stories is salty. Holy crap! Get your PJ.
He's always
Get your
fucking
PJ Salts in chat. What the hell,
Wow.
dude? My God. Anyways,
Only clicked heads. Jeez.
so
Wow.
I'm a DPS player. Talk about me more.
Yeah. Oh God, you poor thing. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, play of the season, guys, is right around the corner, so be aware that that's going to be a thing that's coming up soon. On that note, that is everything I have. Again, if you're interested in play testing those skills challenge things, I'll be firing up Overwatch in just a minute. We'll take a look at that. Otherwise, we out. For Specs, Light Rose, Thug, Ski Free. Thanks for tuning in. For everybody in the Tranquility community, we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Experience tranquility.